All right, welcome back to the program. Joining me right now is my guest, Johannes Wojuola. He's the Special Assistant to the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, that is the FIRS, on media and communication. Mr. Wojuola, good to have you on the show, and thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Likewise, to have you. Okay, let's get started. Just a few days ago, the FIRS came up with a statement on your partnership with MATAN, that's the Market Traders Association
of Nigeria.
Of Nigeria. Why did the FIRS deem it necessary right now to initiate this? Because there's been so many, there's been so much talk around how can we get
penetrate the informal sector.
Informal sector. So why are you coming out at this time?
You're right, actually. Let me put something in context. One, you know, there's been this talk that it was this week. This MOU was signed with MATAN sometime in May. Actually, I think May 17th was when we signed the MOU. But part of the MOU is stakeholder engagement. And so as part of that stakeholder engagement, we had another meeting with MATAN members and the enumerators, I think sometime in June, towards the end of June. But now, coming back particularly to your question, why are we doing this now? I think there's no better time, or there's no other time to do what is right. But historically, the FIRS has made several attempts at entering into the marketplace, particularly the informal markets, the informal sector, to bring them into the tax net, to get them to understand their tax obligations. But it's a web of issues when you deal with the marketplace. It's complex. There are issues of multiple taxation. There are issues of who collects which tax and how. And it's always been met with one stumbling block or the other. But interestingly, the FIRS thought it that if we can partner with umbrella bodies who can speak the language of these people to them, we may be able to achieve a penetration of bringing in the informal sector into the tax net. And you see, one of the issues of taxing the informal sector, however we want to look at it, is the issue of understanding tax. And in this context, you can't bring highfalutin language and be telling a person, an electronic seller, that, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. He probably does not even keep his records, so to say. So we need to communicate with them in the language they understand, and hence the partnership with an umbrella body, which is more like a community setting, a family setting. You discuss with the head of the home, you discuss with the heads of the family, and say, we think that we can partner with you. We think that we need you to be able to bring your members to do the right thing under our law. So it's not like the FIRS has made attempts, but I think this attempt is quite an auspicious one.
Mm. Okay, if we're ready with the report, I want you to take a look at this, because
Sure.
immediately after the announcement, we went to the street to find out from why are you laughing?
You didn't tell me I would have watched the report.
No, but you can watch it now.
Let's watch it.
We took it last week, just a few days ago.
Okay.
We went to the street, we went to the marketplace to find out if indeed they understand what you're saying. So I want to play that report so that you will get feedback and you may also respond.
Wonderful.
Okay. Let's quickly take this. Like I mentioned earlier, that the Federal Inland Revenue Service is set to partner with the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, that's MATAN, to collect and remit value-added tax in the informal sector using a unified systems technology. And this development has received various reactions in traders and FCT. They really espouse their grievances really towards the new taxation, imploring the government to come to their aid and lift their burdens. Just take a listen to our rapport with traders.
Over the years, Nigeria's tax net covers majorly the formal sector, despite the numerous activities in the informal sector. As tax expert points out the untapped potential in taxing the informal sector. the Nigerian government, represented by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has introduced a VAT direct initiative, a scheme that seems to facilitate the collection of value-added taxes from the informal sector. This recent development has again brought to the fore Nigerians' long-standing controversy over the collection of value-added taxes, and there are some indication that these formal sectors may protest the new tax being imposed by the FIRS. According to the FIRS, this scheme would help tackle multiple taxation in the marketplace through partnerships with security agencies to curb the activities of touts and self-imposed tax collectors.
I am very surprised, and to me, it's not good. It doesn't go well down with me, because to me, I see it this way. If a father, for instance, because we are like the children to the federal government, if a father wants to generate money, is it right for him to start suppressing his family before he generates money? Already we are in hot soup. We have so many things bothering on us in Nigeria. Look at it this way. It's as if everything we do in this Nigeria, we do it by ourselves. Federal government is not taking care of.
I think it's a good idea for paying revenue direct to the federal government, because the market traders, most of them, they have so many revenues to pay in the market. They pay revenue for refuse, they pay revenue to clean up the market, they pay revenues to tax force, they pay revenue to the security. So I don't think additional revenue from the federal government will be okay for them. Things are on the high side.
If the price of things will come down, to pay tax is not a bad thing. They're doing it in abroad. But Nigeria, they used to do everything just off head without checking the repercussion or the reaction, what it will cost for the people that you are imposing it on.
Actually, when you look at the introduction of the tax payment, to me, it will help to curb, the activities of the touts, just like they have announced, or just the way they have put it. Understand? It's going to reduce it. It's going to put some touts off the streets to enable people carry out their activities without being intimidated by these task force people. Understand? So that's how I see it. If actually they can, handle it properly and put it in a way, understand, that is going to, make people understand it better. It's all about trying to educate people on it, the need for them to understand why they are introducing it and how it's going to be helpful for people to understand.
For me, the tax implementing the tax now it's uncalled for now, because things are not moving as we expect it to be moving. If you can see, you can look around, you see how the market is dull. So implementing any tax is another suffering.
We are not benefiting anything from government. You understand, ba? We are not benefiting anything from government. Apart from passing on the road, they will not collect money from you. Before then talking about this tax payments, they're supposed to put everything on ground for we traders. You understand, ba? Then when they start collecting the tax, we can be able to cooperate with them. But now there's nothing on ground.
While examining the tax environment in Nigeria, it is imperative to confront the prevailing tax hurdles that have plagued the nation over time.
All right, welcome back. We just had to bring back that report. I still have Johannes Wojuola, who is the special assistant to the executive chairman of the FIRS, and he listened keenly, watching keenly, and writing a lot of things down. You see why I had to bring that back.
Fantastic report there, and it's very, very healthy feedback for us to know some of the areas that we need to speak to. The first thing that I could observe is that I would say 99% of the people who were interviewed are less likely going to fall under the VAT Direct Initiative. Why? I will just mention 3 exemptions. For you to pay VAT under our laws, or the value-added tax, you must make an annual turnover of 25 million naira. I do not think that some of the okrika sellers there are doing a turnover of 25 million in a year. I'm certainly sure that they are not doing that. Then secondly, we have what we call VAT exempt goods. Now, VAT exempt goods are those goods such as food items, agricultural produces and agricultural items, pharmaceuticals, medical equipment. All of these things are outside of the VAT. So people, traders or businesses who deal in these items, they are not required to pay VAT. You also have what we call VAT exempt services. So those in the medical profession, those in in agriculture, they are not expected to charge VAT on their services. But now coming back also to one of the issues or one of the comments that was made by one of the traders, you know, that the federal government is bringing a new tax. I think it's important that we correct that. It's not a new tax. The value-added tax has been there all the while, and you know, like we discussed earlier, what we're trying to do is expand the tax net. More Nigerians should pay tax, and that brings me to something that I think it's a good point to mention to our listeners and our audience. You see, the concept of taxation comes from a social contract. It comes from a contract between government and the citizens. That you, the government, is expected to provide certain services, certain amenities, certain infrastructure, while we, the citizens, on our own part, would provide funds through our taxes. That is the concept of taxation. So when we mention tax, we shouldn't see it as an obligation that citizens should run away from. We should see it as a contribution to civilization. We are always talking about the Japa syndrome. We're always talking about how other countries in the West have more organized system, better welfare for their citizens. This did not come about because they prayed or some things fell from heaven. Good roads did not fall from heaven. Their citizens owned their government and paid their taxes. So that is the foundation of taxation to start with. It's a scenario where citizens have an ownership, a contribution to the government. And that brings me to one of the traders who talked about the father trying to suppress the family. No,
In
let's
fact,
look
she
at
said hot soup. That we're already in hot soup in Nigeria. And you guys are making it hotter.
No. She's, for instance, I'm very sure she's not even going to be under the VAT Direct initiative. I don't think she's making up to 25 million in turnover because the government is already saying that we can't put so much burdens on citizens already. But those citizens that are making healthy turnovers in their business should pay taxes and contribute to the development of the country. Now, coming to that conversation of hot soup and father suppressing this, let's look at it more from an association. Let's look at it more from a community where the members of the association pay dues to ensure that the association does certain things for them. That is the contract that exists between government and the citizens. So it's not a matter of the father coming to suppress. The father has to, or the head of the association in this instance, needs to ensure that there is a road that connects your house. Let's say it's a housing association in an estate. We need to, fix the road from here to here. How are we going to fix it? The chairman is only elected the chairman by all other members of the association. All he does is to use and implement the funds for your benefit, and then he accounts for it. That is the same scenario we have with taxation. And one other key thing that I think Mr. Edward or so, I think I tried to grab his name, said is, no, it wasn't him, it was a lady, said is the issue of paying so many taxes in the market. Genuine concern, very genuine. But you know what? That is why we are also introducing this scheme. Because when we had our meetings with the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, one of the things they kept emphasizing to us was we're tired of this system. Every day somebody will come, like she said, somebody is coming, give us sanitation tax. Another person will come, security levy. Another person will come, roofing tax. Another person will come, healthcare levy. Another person will come, wheelbarrow levy. You know, there's so many of these things happening within the market environment, and they complained. They said, we're tired of these things. And we now said, okay, fine. Part of our strength, which is we are government, so to say, is we have the Joint Tax Board, which the executive chairman of the FIRS is the chairman of the Joint Tax Board. And the Joint Tax Board is, I would say, a board of all the state internal revenue services. We also have, within the remit of our laws, the powers to work with security agencies to enforce taxation. So part of this partnership is, one, to ensure that the taxes that are to be collected in the market space are only legal taxes. That is, taxes that can be collected by the federal government, taxes that can be collected by the state government, and taxes that can be collected by the local government, which are already specified in our laws. So nobody should come to the marketplace and say, okay, today we are taxing every shop or every trader, so to say, to bring walk-in dues or opening shop dues or something like that. That is the kind of sanity that this institutionalized initiative is going to bring. So the fear of that extra revenue or extra tax collectors is actually gone with this partnership. And we're going to continue to work with Martin. Another key thing that was also emphasized is the need to educate. And you know, when some of the guests, I mean, some of the traders were talking about their fears, it's understandable because, well, the message has not fully gotten to them that, oh, you are not actually going to be part of this. You are selling tomato, you are selling yam, you are selling okrika cloth, you are selling gari. That this initiative does not apply to you. If you said you're a pharmacist, bole, palm oil, anything that has to do with food items. Because the concept of the value-added tax is to tax luxury items. So when we are talking about the VAT Direct initiative and we're talking about the character of traders we're looking at here, we're talking about the people who sell electronics. We're talking about the phone sellers. We all know how much an iPhone 13 it goes for. People who trade in these items. We're talking about people who sell material, gold, for instance, in big markets we have in Kano, for instance. We're talking about traders in expensive textile in Balogun markets or in Kantinkweri in Kano. Those are the traders, and those are the kinds of institutionalized traders that we're actually looking out for to bring them into the tax net.
Yeah. Johannes, I've listened to you
Quite
very
interesting, right?
I've listened to you very keenly, and from the reports we played, which I like that you've also drawn up observations and responded to them. Now, from your explanation, you've also espoused what the VAT Direct initiative is.
Indeed.
I would like you to explain it further, then I will take you up on some of the things which you've just said. Don't worry, just be calm.
No.
Okay.
I've tried my best to make sure that we highlight as many things as possible,
exactly.
and also clear the air on a lot of the issues that people have or misconceptions, so to say, about the VAT Direct initiative. So largely, it's a partnership between the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Market Traders Association. Market Traders Association has well over 40 million members across the country in various markets. And like I said, we're not just talking about the small markets and everything, big markets where they sell, building equipment, haulage, textile trading, fashion design, and so many things, all of those people. And then, like I said, the Balogun markets, the Kantinkweris, the big markets in Nigeria, and across the 36 states of Nigeria. Now, this partnership is simply this. Where you have members who fall within or outside, so to say, the tax exemptions or the value-added tax exemptions, that is the 25 million, they make above 25 million a year. They don't trade in those items, food items, basic items, pharmaceuticals, and what have you. Then let's have them. Let's educate them. Let's get them to understand their tax obligations let's also, and crucially, and which is currently ongoing side by side, the enlightenment campaign which we're currently carrying out, is the enumeration.
Okay.
A very critical component of this partnership. We're trying to now enumerate the members. Let's know who are these members, so to say.
I was coming to that because if by law, the Finance Act of 2021, I think, or 2020.
It depends on.
So yeah, for the 25 million naira,
I think
was
it's 2019.
2019, yes, that exempted
Indeed.
25 million below should not pay VAT.
Yes.
Now, if you're saying these categories of people are not going to be taxed, this VAT direct initiative, people that sell food, people that sell pharmaceuticals and all of that, would you still now say that this scheme is targeted at the informal sector? Because if you're taking a look at the woman selling gold, or even in Wuse markets, for example, you see all those men selling gold, women selling fabrics. When you come into their store, you could see like hundreds of millions in terms of goods worth.
Now you are cementing our point.
I understand that, but how do you get those categories of people to begin to do this if they are not? Some don't even have like company names.
That is exactly
so.
So you see,
some also have company names.
Some do. So in fact, most of them, or a good number of them, so to say, have simply business names.
Yes.
And they do that. They just want to open an account, or they want to just get this thing in a microfinance bank or something. But you see, they have not yet registered for tax. They don't file their returns. They don't carry out those expected obligations as tax compliant businesses. And that is the whole gamut of this. So the enumeration is going to identify a lot of things. And that's why I said it's a very crucial component of this partnership. Let's know who we are dealing with. Let's know this gold seller in Wuse Market. What is his business like? What does he do? What does he sell? What does he trade in? What is his turnover like and all of that? So all of those will be achieved. And then also one of the key things that the enumeration is also going to do is that they are going to be given a tax identification number, which in the long run is in pursuit of a journey of fully bringing in this sector to become or fall within, the tax net of the country. So it's not a thing of just a partnership that we're just going to strike now and then boom, we start fetching all the results immediately. We're going to start, importantly also a crucial thing that we are also going to be achieving with this is enumeration for economic planning. We need to know who we are dealing with. We're talking of a portion of our economy that employs about 80% of people. It's important that we know who the persons in this part of the economy.
So are you going to start enumeration with Matan? Because from your statement, Matan has over 40 million.
40 million.
So what do you mean by enumeration again? Are you going to within that 40 million categorize those that are that can pay this?
Yes, that is part of it. So the enumeration now is that Matan has its 40 million. It's 40 million members. We are now working with them to now fully enumerate all their members, document, to map all the members, to know all your members, to have them recorded in their digital system. So one of the things that that I should also mention is that Matan already has an integrated system or a digital platform which it uses for its members. But two things: the platform is deficient. It cannot carry the weight of some of the things that we are looking for, we're asking for. So the partnership is also, or the MOU which we signed for a partnership is such that we are also going to work with them to scale up their platform.
That's in terms of technology.
In terms of the technology.
Okay.
To ensure that their platform can accommodate some of the requests we are making. We want you to do this, we want you to do that. Our technical teams have been meeting, looking at, we from the tax side are saying, okay, this is what we require from you. They are saying, okay, this is what we can do. And we are saying, okay, we can help you with this. Our ICT teams are also on ground you know, to help them with some of these things as well.
Okay, you talked about a unique ID earlier that will be given to people on this platform
Indeed.
and a tax identification number. Is it
For those who do not have already.
Yeah, for those, okay, for those who do not have, because I wanted to ask if the unique ID or the TIN number will be different from the rest of us
No,
that
no,
have,
no, it's the same.
so that it will identify that this
so-
person is under the
It's
VAT
so the
direct
TIN number,
initiative. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
The ID
Yes.
is not an ID number. It's
Okay.
an ID card.
Okay.
And it's the Matan ID card actually.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not a tax ID card. It's the Matan membership ID card. Like I said, the enumeration is also helping Matan to document their members, but we are now going to leverage on that documentation. But we're now also saying that as part of the documentation, the enumeration of your members, we want you to also ensure that your members register for tax, and that is have a tax identification number.
How about people that have also come out? You know that there are many associations in Nigeria. Matan will say they have 40 million. I can perhaps say that some other people will say, oh, we are not part of Matan because there's so many fragmentation
Of course.
of associations in Nigeria. How do you address that? Because if you're saying, except those that are under Matan, Matan will be feeling like a big boy now. I will be like, even going to the marketplace, if you are not in Matan, you are in any association, you are not in, do you understand what I'm saying? That government just recognizes us, so we are the only recognized. You understand how things work here?
While you're right, we are looking at Matan as a starting or an entry point.
So will you engage other market associations?
Absolutely. And I don't want to throw so much, but we're already a lot of the conversations when we came up with the I would say the strategy to engage bodies, to engage associations, to engage this associations within the informal sector. That already conversations commenced with a lot of these bodies, because we found that it's easier to deal with them as a community than to deal with them, you know, individually, one person, especially to achieve cooperative compliance. A situation where the trader is not angry to comply. He's not saying, I don't want to do this, I'm not doing this. He's already a part of the association, he's part of the body, he has been educated on his obligations, we are partnering with him, he's also sharing with us his grievances, so to say, and say, oh, we are not happy with some of the issues we have with touts in the market. We are not happy with the double taxation or multiple taxation we are facing. We need your help on this. That conversation has helped us create a bond to let them do that. Government is here for you.
Okay. Johannes, let's take a look at the issue of this multiple taxation again.
Please.
You addressed it earlier. There was a woman, a respondent, that actually mentioned it, that it's a way to cut out the touts and all of that. But do you think that this will sufficiently address multiple taxation? Because in many areas, a trader will go to the market, they are paying omonile, they are paying local government taxes, they are paying market rates, they are paying toilet fees, they are paying a lot of things. And you know that the local government areas in Nigeria are also responsible for markets, for example, parks and all of that. You also know that there are other internal revenue services in 36 states across Nigeria and the FCT.
Absolutely.
So how do you, because from what you're saying, so that people don't also have an idea that if I pay this, if I belong to Matan, I'm going to be paying one.
I'm done with all my
taxes.
taxes.
I won't be paying waste collection and all of that.
You're
so,
right.
Yes.
So the thing is not to conflict it, but to look at it from the perspective of the journey towards harmonization. Now, if Matan is, let's say, a market, Matan is operative in that market, and we have fully commenced the process and everything is up. One of the things that would happen is a situation where all the relevant taxes to be collected will be clearly spelled out for the traders. Those who are liable to pay VAT within the marketplace, you know this. You know that you have to pay, if you have to pay any of the state government taxes, if you have to pay any of the local government taxes or levies, all of that will be clearly spelled out. Now, what we are going to curb is the activities of those non-state actors, not the persons from the local government or the state government, but those non-state actors, the agberos, the miscreants, the touts, that come and say, okay, this one is our corner. This is what everybody pays here. That that non-presence of governance is what we'll also be tackling with this partnership. But importantly, I should state that this is a journey. This is a starting point. A lot of loose ends will be knotted and tied as we go further. A lot of issues will be identified and fixed, as we also go further. There's a lot of fine-tuning also going on. And, if the government does not speak to Matan, does not engage with the marketplace, it will not be able to understand the challenges of the marketplace and also how to address it. And this, for us, is, a foundational point of that engagement.
Like, for example, I would like to speak about the economics of this VAT collection from Martin. I see you're smiling, Johannes, because perhaps you know where I'm going to. When it comes to money, trust me, I'm there.
Absolutely.
And I understand what you're
money
doing.
line, aren't we?
So the economics of this VAT collection in terms of how cost-effective or cost-efficient will it be for FIRS to collect these taxes from these categories of people vis-a-vis the amount that will be made. I don't know if the FIRS is also coming with like a template, if there will be categorization across board, or would you come out also with a fixed amount that those people, Matan members, will be paying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. That's the first part of the question. The second part is the monies you will use to collect may be larger than the monies you will collect. So the economics part of it. If FIRS is also looking at all of this.
Very brilliant question there. But let me just share some perspectives. The informal sector contributes about 80% to our economy. And that means there's a huge chunk of wealth there. There's a huge chunk of money there that is untaxed. So already we know that there's potential here. But going back to a comment you made earlier, that if you enter into some of these gold shops, you're talking of dealing with hundreds of millions of naira.
But would you say that is their turnover, or
no? That is their annual turnover.
That's their annual turnover. The exemption so we have is on 25 million. Is
on 25 million. Having anything, those who are not to be brought into those who are not expected to pay VAT are those who have an annual turnover below 25 million. So
which is yearly.
Which is yearly. A yearly turnover of 25 million. So the expectation is of a businessman who is expected to pay VAT is that he's expected to charge the VAT. It's a consumer tax. It's a tax that is paid by the consumer. He's expected to charge it on his goods and remit it to the federal government. So that already answers the question of this thing. It is cost effective once you are able to establish that you have a good amount of business men and business women who are trading in tens and millions of naira and are not paying VAT. So it's as easy as it's actually once you have everything streamlined. I think it's cost effective in the long run, and it's something. Let's also look at the other economic aspect of it. For national planning, the government needs to know who its citizens are, what its citizens are doing, what also are the challenges of the citizens, what is happening in the marketplace, who are those that are trading in the marketplace, what goods are moving in the marketplace as well. It's creating a form of visibility in the marketplace that hitherto was not there.
Okay, so it answers the second question. VAT in Nigeria, of course, is 7.5%.
It's 7.5%. It's a flat rate. Yes,
it's a flat rate for now.
For now, it should be. I would say more than that.
Okay. As we close the program, Also, in your statement a few days ago when you released this, you said that the monitoring and evaluation team comprising the FIRS MATAN members would go to work immediately. How much work is being done as we speak? Did they go to work immediately? And if they did, how much work? Or if they did not, when are you going to work?
Let me say that a lot of the focus right now is on two things: enlightenment and enumeration. So part of what the conversation we're having, enlightening the public, and the enlightenment is in two arms. You know, enlighten the general public and enlighten the membership of MATAN, because MATAN also needs to, MATAN members need to understand what their rights are, what their obligations are. We need to clear that air of any bole seller or krika seller, yam seller, that, oh, am I going to fall on that? We need to help them to understand that, oh, amongst us in this house here of MATAN members, you are not actually, you are exempt from this initiative because you are dealing in this product. It's also going to be tax education for us to discuss with them, hear from them. So that enlightenment is happening on both, on two prongs, you know, MATAN members and the general public.
Okay, I'm looking at the time, Johannes, and we've got to go. But in 10 seconds, just before we go, how would the FIRS address the issue of distrust in terms of paying taxes and using my taxes to do the work? I shouldn't be my AEDC, I shouldn't be my water supply, I shouldn't be my road builder.
Very true.
Very quickly.
So we are going to, and part of the MOU is that we are going to be doing a lot of CSR with the marketplaces. Our corporate social responsibilities in terms of health, in terms of sanitation, providing toilet facilities in the marketplace. It's going to be part of the what FIRS will be doing in marketplace as CSR, corporate social responsibility.
That's as a federal revenue generating
federal, yes,
agency,
as FIRS.
As FIRS.
Yes,
because
indeed.
the local governments also have
their own expectations
to play.
Yes, indeed,
okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
It's been exciting.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, I've been speaking with Johannes Wojuola, who is the Special Assistant to the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. We've been talking about the tax on market traders, the partnership between FIRS and MATAN. Please join us again tomorrow for another edition, a new edition of the show. I am Nancy Najibi, the best you can be, and be the change that you want to see by now.